You're listening to the Queens of Bravocon podcast. I'm Lisa Hendrickson, one of your hostesses, and we have John Meeker with us, who is our co-host for the show. Welcome, John.
Hi, Lisa. How are
Hey,
you?
I'm good. Well, if you are listening to the very first Queens of Bravocon podcast. We're launching it in the Facebook group first, just to kind of see how it goes. We know there's a lot of you out there that you're new to the group and you have a lot of questions and, you post and everybody answers. But John and I thought we'd have a little show about Bravocon and the Bravocon experience. We'll talk about stuff from 2019, 2022, what we know about 2023, and just some little tidbits about our experiences running the group. And John, do you want to tell the listeners what you did for Bravocon?
Yeah, sure. So I first joined Bravocon in 2019. I was one of the leaders for guest operations. I did it again in 2022 because I love it and I'm crazy. So I'm hoping that means that I've got all the kind of inside tips and tricks because of that that I can share with everybody.
The
And
trick.
Lisa, you have a funny story on how you came to Bravocon, right? Because you didn't get to go in 2019 and it was a whole thing.
Yeah, I didn't get to go. So maybe I'll save the long story for another podcast because we got plenty planned. But in 2019, I got injured, so I couldn't go. And I found out like around August, right as tickets were coming on sale. So I was kind of like, oh my God. And then I found out there was like 3 venues, right?
Yeah.
So it would have been really hard for me to go with my injured leg. It would have been
Yeah.
challenging, difficult, and I didn't know New York very well, so I just skipped it. And that's when Susie came on as admin for the group, and the reason why I wanted someone to help because she was going to the event, so she
Yeah.
navigated the event there, and I ran the command center from home, which was really interesting because I've never done this before. So it was kind of like watching this little group grow and then boom, a blow up over a weekend of just insane videos, pictures. I mean, I was mind blown the whole weekend online just watching. And you were
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. And seeing it live. Yeah. 2019 was really, well, before we go into 2019, we should probably tell people what the podcast is, right? I don't want to get ahead
Oh,
of myself.
sure. It's our first one, so we've probably got a lot of things to learn what we're going to
Yeah.
do.
So Lisa, I think our goal, and tell me if I'm wrong, we are going to give everybody the how-to behind BravoCon. I'm no longer working on it. You are not affiliated. Neither of us are affiliated with NBC,
That's true.
Bravo TV, BravoCon, anything Universal, NBC Universal related. And so now that we're not, we can try and give people the tips and tricks. I think what made me the most frustrated in 2019 and 2022 is that there were all these people who were so excited to be at BravoCon, and you could tell for them it was the first time they'd ever been to a convention, and they had no idea what they were doing. And so
Right.
they made all of those. There's not a lot of crossover between like the people who go to Comic-Con and the people who go to BravoCon. There is some crossover. It's me. I think I'm the entire circle of crossover
Yeah.
between Comic-Con and BravoCon.
The circle of
But
life.
yeah, but they were making mistakes that made me so sad. Of like, you're doing your best, but you just don't know. Like, you don't know best practices. You don't know what you shouldn't do. So people would come to a panel, like the most popular panel, 5 minutes before it was scheduled to start, and then be surprised because it was full.
Right.
And it's those little things that somebody has to tell you up front. Like, no, if you really want to go to a panel, be there a half hour early.
Right.
At the very least, absolute minimum is 15 minutes ahead of time, because for each panel, there is not enough space for everybody who's attending BravoCon to go to every panel. That's how conventions work, and like that's the behind the scenes. So there's a ton of that kind of stuff that I'm just really excited to share with people.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, we're going to have a whole show about panels, tickets, schedules, add-ons, Vegas itself, BravoCon on a budget, some guests that we're going to have on the show that are experienced with it, maybe some other Bravo little baby lebs in the books, maybe something we can do to get someone in. Other people who attended, I've already asked some people in the Facebook group if they want to. They have a lot of knowledge about it outside of ours. So just to have like a regular, attendee come and give their tips and tricks too. And
Yep.
I think the one thing the show's not going to focus on is celebrity gossip and the TV shows themselves,
There
because
are
so
so
many.
many wonderful podcasts that already do that.
I know.
And we don't have anything worthwhile to add to that conversation. So
No.
if you need a recommendation, we could give you one, but
Yeah.
you don't need one.
No, I was like, you know what? There's plenty of those shows already. So don't expect that
Yeah.
kind of gossip here, because we've got plenty to talk about. John and I don't also know how long the shows are going to be. We were like, maybe it'll be 15, 20 minutes, a quick podcast for you to listen to on the way to work or during lunch, or maybe it might be a full long hour one if we get into a long conversation about, which me and John could talk a lot about Bravocon. I could tell you that.
Every time we've been trying to plan, we keep going on tangents about Bravocon. So there is a lot to talk about.
I know, right? It was kind of fun. And so we are going to also be posting these on the socials. We've made accounts on TikTok, YouTube. This is video, so this will be up on our YouTube as well. Instagram, Twitter, and a Facebook page. I think that's it, right?
Yep. And then obviously the audio is on Spotify,
Yep.
and hopefully all of the podcast channels you get podcasts from. So if you don't want to look at us, and I don't blame you if you don't want to look at us, you can listen to us in your ears.
Well, I did get ready for the show today. First time in a while. I've been on a podcast / video, and I don't know if I'll be pretty every single show.
I mean, you've set the standard now. I don't think you can change it. That's why I was like, okay, like, let me make sure my hair is done and I look like I didn't just get out of bed, but also I'm putting a t-shirt on. So
Right,
that I'm
exactly.
setting a lower bar.
And your Hollywood lights in the back.
And my Hollywood lights in the back and my new house that we just moved into. So I have no furniture in this room except for me.
That's so crazy. I just moved to Nashville 3 months ago. You just moved into a new house outside of the city. John lives up in New York, and I'm down in
Yep.
Nashville. So we both have had a lot going on since
Yeah, it's been a
Bravocon
crazy.
too.
Yeah, but the next Bravocon is already coming. And in
No.
Vegas, which I'm so excited about. Sorry.
Well, were you surprised to hear it was Vegas?
I was surprised to hear it was Vegas. I thought I was almost 100% sure they were going to come back to New York.
Yeah.
And like I don't have any info on the conversations or why they chose Vegas, but Lisa, I can't underestimate like how much that was the right choice, or understate how much that was the right choice. Like it is going to be, it's such a great spot. And we'll talk about the whys and everything,
Yes.
but I've already pulled up the map. So this is what you can expect. I've already pulled up all of the blueprints for the ballrooms, because they're all publicly available online, right?
Right.
None of this is like
You're an
back
expert
end
in this.
information, but I know what I'm looking
Exactly.
for. So I've already pulled up all of the ballroom layouts and have the size estimates, and already compared them to the Javits Center from last year.
Nerd.
And see
Operations nerd.
operations there till the end of time. So we are going to run through all of that, but for so many reasons, Vegas is the right choice. I'm so excited that they went with Vegas.
Well, I can openly share this because this isn't a secret, but for a long time, there was gossip about where it was.
Yeah.
And so as you know, with the Facebook group, I try to keep out that kind of gossip until it's confirmed, because, we're not a partner with Bravo, but we kind of have worked with them since 19 with some fun projects and little things. And it's not a secret that we, had pre-sale tickets. Everybody in the group knew that. And we just kind of like work with them on little things, but we're not affiliated. But when it came to the gossip, I was like, you know what? I can't put that out there. And people were just saying, well, we heard it on this Instagram and this Instagram. And I was like, well, you know what? I'm not going to allow it, because I can't feed into that until it's 100%. But personally, I was like, no, it's going to be at Javits, because they know the layout. They can get more space now. And outside of the complaints of the bathroom issue, I never had a problem with it, but that was the big one. And I was like, I love the Javits Center. I love the people. Yeah. I love New York. I was super excited to come back because, I rented a scooter and it was like perfect for me. And then I was like, well, guess what? Vegas is big and there's plenty of scooters there too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that is true. Yep. Well, and you also lived in Vegas for a
I
while, so
did.
you know that city better than
Yep.
anybody. Also, you can come visit me in New York. You don't need to just come out here for
Right.
BravoCon.
Well,
Come on.
I actually lived there for 3 years, so I'm pretty familiar with it. And but now that it's happening, I'm pretty excited.
Yeah,
I booked my ticket and I got my hotel, which we'll talk about that later too. But I
yeah,
was like, you know what? I actually learned in New York that I needed an extra day because with the Bravocon group I have, it's just kind of like a lot. And I just wanted to have enough time when I get there to relax a little bit. And I'm sure schmooze with other people that are there. The minute you get to the hotel, you're going to see other Bravocon people. And it's like
yeah,
instant joy. And with
yeah.
that being said, I got to tell you, when I was at the Courtyard Hotel, I was outside smoking. I
Yep.
saw you coming up the street with the Bravocon t-shirt. I didn't know
I
who
was
you
about to
were.
say it. Yeah,
I
we've
didn't know who
never
you
met in
were.
person.
And
We
I
had never
yelled,
really talked before.
no, Bravo Connor. That's what I yelled at you. And all you were like, hey, Lisa. And I was like, who's that? I didn't even know. And on the back of your shirt, it said staff. And I was like, oh my God, that's a staff member. And then I was telling some girl and she was like, oh, he's a volunteer, I'm sure. And I was like, I don't know. And then I end up meeting you there and you were like, no, I'm like the king of operations here. So I was like, okay, that's stuff you see at the hotel is the outside excitement of
Yeah,
people there. And it's just so giddy and fun for anybody that goes. So at the hotel, you're going to see all those people.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that's part of the fun. And we're gonna talk. We've. I'm gonna try to stop saying we're gonna talk about this in the podcast, but it's the first one. We're getting used to it.
I
We're gonna
know.
talk a lot about hotels because I think that there's kind of two different ways to do BravoCon, right? There's the like we're all in. I'm going to spend all of the money I've been saving for a minute on this. Stay
Right.
at the nice hotel that's connected to BravoCon or recommended by BravoCon. And then I think this is more what you did in 2022. Is there's the like, no, we're going to find a nearby hotel that's comfortable, but not. I think last I looked, it was like $800 a night for
Oh,
the
man.
BravoCon specific hotels. It was crazy. Um, and I think no matter which way you go, you're going to have a ton of fun because there's so many other people who are
Oh,
going to
yeah.
follow those same things. And we'll talk about what hotels to stay at, which hotels
You
not
know it
to
all.
avoid. But like Vegas is a desert no matter what time of year you go. So things like transit and access and how you're getting there are important because when you and 12,000 of your best friends go to leave uh, BravoCon at the end of the day, you're not all getting a taxi or an Uber. There's not enough
Oh,
in
geez.
Vegas to do that. So,
Well,
you know,
that circles back to what I was saying is that I decided to come a day early. So I'm
mhm,
flying in on Wednesday, the 1st, and I'm leaving on Tuesday, 2 days after, because last year I was completely exhausted. I
yeah,
mean, and I didn't even walk. Okay. I rode a scooter because those that don't know, I got my injury and I just can't walk that far. I was tired. So
yeah,
I really regretted having the next morning on Monday to fly out when I needed another extra day just to,
to
oh,
recover.
God. I mean, I wish I could have just had a Bloody Mary in my room and just enjoyed the event as it was. And, it's just, I need that extra day. So I'm coming for a whole week almost.
Yeah, smart.
Yeah.
That's smart. And
Yeah.
we'll talk about travel practices. I
Oh,
think the
geez.
other thing we should mention, because I've just done it like twice with the hotel and um, guest exiting, is we don't, I'm going to underline this like 3 times. Lisa and I have no inside knowledge about BravoCon 2023. So I just threw out like you and 12,000 of your best friends. I have no idea if that's an accurate number. I have no idea how many tickets they're going to sell.
Right. I
Not
think it's gonna be a
accurate from
lot more than that.
previous. Yeah, totally, probably should be with how many people want to go to BravoCon. But um, I'm just gonna caveat everything we say with we don't have specifics. So when we
We
try
don't.
and give specifics, they are all ballpark estimates. We're
Yeah.
giving you our best guess,
We
and
don't
we do
know.
acknowledge we kind of know what we're talking about. So hopefully they're actually in the ballpark and not random and totally off base. But I just want to say that out loud so nobody later is like, well, they said. Lisa and John said they
Oh,
sold 12,000 tickets because we have no idea.
no, look at it this way. It's kind of like the Super Bowl Facebook group that someone started and they could talk about the Super Bowl all year. And they're
Yeah.
meeting up with somebody that worked at the Super Bowl who has the experience. So it's kind of like two interesting parties having conversations with guesstimates.
Yes.
We'll be
Yes.
guessing and things will change. So that's why John and I, when we are talking about, I was like, let's do a show a week because we have all
Yeah.
these topics and John came up with like what 8 topics for sure. And then I brought
Yeah.
in more because I was like, the group is going to be on fire with the tickets
Yes.
and then the
Yeah.
schedule and then the panels and Bravo Palooza. So each week we have to plan for that because as we get info, we can talk about it.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Lisa, should we do a quick run through of the shows, high level? We don't have to do every single one, but the shows we plan to do. So if
Yeah.
anybody has requests, maybe they can
Yes.
email us at our, okay. So let me run through them first then. So this, as you can tell, is us introducing ourselves. That's Lisa. I'm John. You know that now. Yay, we did it. We're gonna do some wild speculation up front about what we think is gonna happen because that's just fun and I want to do it, right? Let's shoot for the moon. And then when we get more real, so we'll do a hotels deep dive, talk about the different hotels, where you should stay and why, where you shouldn't stay and why. We'll do a venue deep dive. So with all the available information I can pull from the internet, I'm going to make some guesses and we will deep dive as deep as we can into the venue, talk about the pros, the cons, the what's there, what's not there. We will obviously be keeping tabs on ticket announcements, Bravo Lab announcements, and so we'll dedicate shows to those. Usually, and I should say previously, not usually, because they've only done this twice. Previously, what Bravo will do for Bravocon is they'll release an announcement about what tickets are going to be available, the different package levels, give you some good information about it, and then set a release date a couple of weeks in advance of that.
Yep.
So we should have enough time for those ticket announcements to come out and talk through it all and help you plan which ticket you may want to go for before tickets actually go on sale. If they pull a fast one on us, which they might, we will. Listen, if we have to do it live, we'll do it live, right? This is the big thing. We've got to hit the tickets. So we will talk about tickets. And then we'll talk about, once we get through tickets, start to get some scheduling information. We'll talk about the panels. Until then, we'll talk about the historic panels, but we'll talk about the panels that they announced for 2023. I do want to talk about Bravo Palooza and the, of course I'm forgetting it in this moment, the museum that they had.
Bravoland?
Had a cool, Bravoland. Oh my gosh, how did I forget Bravoland, Lisa? We can't cut that out because everyone needs to know how ridiculous it is. I forgot Bravoland.
Right. The one where I chased Gary through?
Yes.
In the Devons?
Yes, exactly that.
That was embarrassing.
But I personally, and I have a lot of unpopular opinions, I think Bravoland was the coolest thing in Bravocon, and most people didn't see it. So I want to talk about it. I want to talk about why I liked it. As part of our wild speculation, I hope they have something similar, but like, we'll talk about it. We'll tell you about it. We'll talk about Bravo Palooza. I love Bravopalooza. You had a Bravopalooza experience, right, Lisa?
You know what? When we have that show talk, I'll explain. But I didn't end up getting any tickets, and because I was so confused on what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Because with the Facebook stuff I had running, I was like, I had to do both. I wanted to enjoy Bravocon and do stuff for the group, so I didn't buy any. But I'll explain what I did do though.
Yeah, I love it. And we are going to make sure that nobody else has the same situation as Lisa, where they're like, I don't know what I want to do. We'll make sure you're prepared.
I know. I learned it was only my first one. The first Bravocon, in my opinion, was a totally different, almost online experience than the second one. You can tell that they had learned from 2019 because I witnessed it all and I was like, yes, this is going really good now. This is way better. This is way better. And so things flowed more. I think, I'm guessing that they had some meetings and learned and tried to fix some of the things that weren't bad experiences, just things that could have been changed, or that didn't work or whatever. So, but, I wanted to go, but I'll explain that. I just wasn't sure which one I wanted to attend, and because I didn't know what was going on with my life. But a lot of people bought a lot of them. So
Yeah.
they wanted to go
Yeah.
to a lot of those, so they bought the tickets.
For
Yeah.
sure. Cool. Okay, last topics. Disabled special events, special needs. I think it's really important because there's a lot of
Mhm.
folks who think that, especially when it was at the Javits Center, but this is, I mean, the new location in 2023 is, spoiler alert, the same size as the Javits Center, essentially.
Yeah.
I'll break down the square footage and all that, but um, there are a lot of tools and a lot of resources available
Yeah.
for guests with disabilities or those who may have some
Oh yeah.
special needs while they're there. So we want to talk about it, make sure everybody knows what it is. I know Bravo feels very strongly that everybody should be able to access it. Everybody should
Yep.
feel comfortable. Everybody should have the tools they need. So I want to do a whole episode
Right.
dedicated to that, to making sure
Well,
that anybody who needs anything
there's a lot of
knows what it
special
is.
needs people.
Yeah.
I was one of them. So I became a cheerleader for people with that. I was like, there's enough scooters in Vegas for everybody if you need it.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about why you might also want one just in general,
Yeah.
because there's a lot of walking.
Yeah, a lot of walking. Oh, and on that Javits floor, that was so unforgiving.
Special needs
Yeah.
will include good shoes to wear, clothing. I mean,
Yes.
I luckily was fine, but I know that, all those extra things, that'll be a whole show. I put that in there when you sent me the list because I was like, I know there's a lot of people with those questions. Mothers who are breastfeeding, and you need to have the rooms and all that stuff. So
yeah,
we're
all
gonna
of
have a
which
whole show
every
on
year
that.
Bravos had. So we gotta talk about it.
And we're gonna mention it
Yeah.
all. And
Oh
you
yeah.
better believe we're gonna talk about it.
Well, and the other side of that is also food and entertainment,
Mhm.
which is, everybody wants to know about food, but also for those folks who have like dietary restrictions or concerns about what different types of food, um, we want to talk about that. And BravoCon in 2022 did a really good job at making sure they had a lot of options. So I imagine they'll do the same in 2023. But
Oh yeah.
Vegas also has really good food.
Yes.
So
And
let's
I
make sure
didn't break the bank by eating at the Bravo at the Javits Center. No, I was fine.
No.
No,
Yeah.
it wasn't
It was
expensive.
good.
It was really good.
Yeah. Big good options. And then
I didn't
the
eat
big
much because I
one.
drank all day. I kind of drank my
Well,
lunch.
let's talk about best practices, how you need to eat if you're going to drink that much.
Yeah, that's only 3 days, so it doesn't matter.
Your body can handle it for 3 days. And then the group meetup, that's the big one, right?
Oh, yes.
Obviously, the BravoCon group does a meetup. Are y'all going to do a meetup this year? You're the queen of BravoCon, so I don't know these details.
So I'm going to be transparent about everything on this because a lot of people really, the whole group was supposed to be for a meetup in 2019. There was only 20 people that joined the group from another sister kind of Facebook group at the time. And when that dissolved, I was like, I still want the meetup. That was my whole goal. Well, in 2019, Susie ended up having a small meetup. Only like 30 people showed up, but it was fine because it was the first year.
But sorry, Lisa, 30 people is not a small meetup. Okay. That is a good size meetup. I know that there's 17,000 group members now. So like maybe the meetups are a little different, but come on.
Well, we were thrilled that 30 people showed, but then in 22, when I booked the hotel, I had group hotel rates back then. If you weren't involved in 2022 one, I had group hotel, I had 2 hotels, and I had a meeting space that had a bar, breakfast, food all day. It was really just perfect for us. And we had over 300 people show up that Thursday night. And we were not expecting 300 people. And the bar wasn't expecting 300 people. But it was like people were coming and going. So it was kind of fun. Yeah. Like it was rotating all the time. But we had specialty drinks made. Oh boy. Those turned into, let's just slap stuff together. They couldn't make the pretty drinks because there were so many. But so for this new meetup, I decided to, I told Susie, I think we should wait until after tickets go out to decide on what to do with the meetup. So if you're planning on going, I actually want to do some other meetups, hopefully a big one. I don't know. Let me just tell you that Vegas is not cheap. If you need a meeting space, you better have a lot of money. And I'm not going to put in a lot of money for this. So I'm debating on how I'm going to work it out because I don't make any money off this.
Listen, maybe if more than 30 people listen to our podcast, we can put some ads on here and use
Right.
that to pay for a
Maybe.
meetup.
I'd love to
Yeah.
sponsor if anybody catches that, but it's going to take like $20,000-$30,000 to have a meeting space. But the thing is with that, with sponsorships, you can get booze and some appetizers and fun events, so that's what I'm working on, but haven't decided. I also want to do a meetup for solo people, probably Thursday night, just for solo people so they could go meet other people. Cause that was one of the benefits from the Facebook group of people who went was they met people and they were instant friends. And then you see each other at the event too, at the hotel, at the event. So it's like you recognize people. I think that helps bring a little community together, which you can spot a Bravoconer a mile away, but I think it just made the solo people feel more comfortable. So, and I went solo myself, even though I had, Susie I knew and all these Facebook friends, but I still went alone, took my own cab in, did everything myself. But we'll have that too. And then I'm going to try to see what else I can play with because I know that if I don't end up having a big meetup, then we'll do something else that'll be just as special. I hope.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Okay. Well, maybe we'll get to hear that first on the Queens of Bravocon podcast.
I will definitely tell you in the group.
Okay, great.
In the group if I can figure it out. But yeah, I think that'll be one thing I'm working on mentally because when tickets come out, then I can decide.
Yeah.
I want to get through that hump.
Sounds reasonable. And then last thing I have on our list to talk about is night activities. So there's two different shows for night activities because there's two different type of night activities. So there's the other events to do after Bravocon because there's a ton of stuff happening in Vegas all the time. And there's the night activities at Bravocon itself and which ones you may want to go to.
Oh my God.
And we'll talk about all that. I think that is, not I think, that is our, nope, I'm wrong. I just scrolled and I discovered, I totally forgot about merchandise you can buy.
Oh, yes.
And dress code. Because Bravocon, some folks glammed up and looked so good until they walked all day on their really nice stiletto heels or really fancy dress shoes. And by the end of the day, they didn't look as nice. They were tired.
Well, I will share some of my favorite stories of what I saw online, how people dressed in themes or outfits. And that'll be a really fun show. Because I got to tell you that's everybody thinks you have to dress up. And I was like, oh my God, no, I wore shorts and a pink little cute sweater with my cowboy hat.
Yeah.
I was like, that's what I'm doing today. And it made me feel comfortable. So that was my outfit.
Well, and you have 3 days. Well, I'm making the assumption that 2023 is 3 days, just like 2022 and 2019 are. But you have 3 days worth of outfits to plan. So you can have a glam day and you can have a comfortable day that isn't going to kill your legs.
I'm up at night.
Yes.
I personally didn't walk a lot, so I don't know, but I just know I just wear comfy shoes. But a whole show on that, yes, and maybe accessories like bags and stuff like that too, because I know that a lot of people, one of the main questions was, can we bring our own bags? And as far as we knew, you could. I mean, the security guards at Javits were so awesome. I mean, like, the only thing you couldn't like bring in and out was, I think, booze.
Yeah.
That was probably the only thing. I mean, I don't remember anything else. But
there's a couple, and we will make sure to talk about those. Bravocon does release all of the information on like what can you bring, what can't you bring, what bag size, all of that. It just not everybody knows where to look. So
you are. That's why you're here.
Everybody knows. Yep. Everybody will know what size bag they can bring, what can be in it. Listen, it's good to have a little sandwich in your baggie if you're allowed to, because if you get hungry, it's a lot of drinking.
Protein bars were talked about a lot last year.
Yeah.
But I was like, the pizza was only $10, so it wasn't that bad.
It was good.
No, it wasn't bad.
I'm a fan of chicken tendies, and they had some real good chicken tendies.
Did they?
So that is what I ate all week because they were delicious.
Oh my God. I'm afraid to eat in Vegas, frankly, because, well, I just loved day drinking at Bravocon. That to me was I was off work. I could just drink all day and I just caught this nice buzz. And to me, food wasn't even a thought. When I did though, I ate well, but I was like, It just, I'm not a big Vegas restaurant person. I
Yeah.
mean, that's not my thing. I'd rather go and do some little dive bar if I can find it.
Well, and this is why we're perfect, because that's your scene. On the other end, I'm like, can we go to 2 restaurants for dinner? Like, is it possible to split this? I want to try more. So we've got you covered on both
That's
ends.
cute. Well, there is a little bar called Champagne's in Vegas that was by my house, and it is an original gangster-ish kind of uh, old
Cool.
bar. It could only hold about probably 100 people, but maybe I'll think about doing a meetup there if people want to get there.
I
That's
like
fun.
that. So that's our list. I didn't
Okay.
miss anything, right, Lisa? Did I?
No, I
I
don't
don't
think
think so.
so. We covered quite a bit of what we're going to talk about. I think we decided that we're going to try to publish them on Sunday mornings for now. So you guys can,
Yep.
if you want to listen to it, just expect it then. We're also going to do a little 1 minute snippet. Um, not this show probably, but the next one of what we're going to talk about, and we'll put it on the socials beforehand so you can kind of get an idea. It's kind of our fun little blurb of just, hey, check us out tomorrow morning kind of thing. I'm trying to think of all the things I haven't done that we could do because it's our own show now. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
And I think that might be it for my notes as well. Just remember, send us an email. John, go ahead and tell
At
the email.
It's queens of bravocon at gmail.com. So
We got
that's
our Gmail.
plural. Lisa is the actual queen of Bravocon, and she's letting me borrow her title. And I've told her our goal now is to make everyone a queen of Bravocon, because
That's right.
everybody's going to know how to do it.
It
It's going to be
is.
great.
I did have a crown.
Yeah.
I did not wear it today. I will wear it another time, but I had it made because you know what? Everybody on Instagram has their own like name, right? Like
Yeah.
there's actually a real Instagram called the Queen of Bravo. So I was like, I'll give her a plug right here. You know, she's got thousands of followers, but I was like, I picked the Queen of BravoCon last year before I knew that. So I had a crown made. I actually wore it at BravoCon.
I feel like we need to get you a slightly larger crown this year, Lisa. Like every year it's got to get slightly bigger and bigger. Like
Well,
just a little.
I might get a cape this year. I'll have a big fluffy cape.
I think for a queen it's called a train.
Is it? Well, maybe
The coronation literally happened the day we're recording this, so I feel
I
like we
realized
should know these things better.
I also was like, can you imagine me on my scooter with a flowing train and with my crown? Maybe
We've got
find
to
me again.
we've got to hotwire your scooter so you can go on like road speed, so the train is billowing behind you as you like
I know.
zoom through BravoCon.
Oh my God. Well, if you're gonna be the queen, you gotta wear the crown.
Yeah, you got to do it with some
That was
style.
that was fun for me. I love that.
Yeah, good.
So yeah, email us at the Queens of BravoCon at Gmail. You can also follow us. We're gonna have the links in the bio of the YouTube and the Spotify. And this is our first one, so we're gonna figure stuff out. Send us any questions. I think in time I'd like to add some stuff, funny things from the Facebook group, not calling anybody out in particular, but just some funny questions or things like that to just help, in more detail of anything that we might know. And John and I don't know everything, but we can sure talk
Well,
about
we know
it.
how to find out.
We know how to talk about it. That's right.
Well, and if anyone has any questions or things that they want us to do a show on, email us that
Yeah.
too. Because the whole point is to prep everybody, all 14 of you who are going to listen. We want you to be prepared and ready for BravoCon. So if you have questions, let us know what they are so we can answer them.
It'll be our first 14, our 14 fans. Yeah, I have no idea. You know what? I was talking to John about moving and just other stuff on Facebook, and then next thing I said is I want to do something else with this. I don't know what to do. And I said, I've written 11 books. So I'm a published author. But writing a book is so daunting. And plus it changes. And I was
Yeah.
like, and then he was like, we should do a podcast. I said, I've done a podcast. So I had one for 10 years for my own business.
Yep.
How fun.
So you're way more experienced at this than I am.
Well, really what it is just free talking and enjoying yourself and then giving people things they want to learn. And I mentioned the Bravocon experience is really what it's all about. And people are so stoked for it that the excitement is there. Let's talk about it. And
Yeah.
we want you all to be involved somehow. So reach out to us.
Yep.
We'll listen.
Or read, because if you send an email,
Then we're reading it.
probably a semantic that's not important, but I'm going to make it anyway.
We're gonna hear it emotionally. We'll be able to feel their energy.
Yeah.
So yes, you can check it out. Links in bio. Join the Facebook group. That's the main group. It's just you can go to Facebook and search Bravocon if you're not in the group and got wind of this show. And we also have a website, bravocommunity.org, which I've been putting together as a little like layover place for people who want to register for our meetups. Because once the group is getting, I mean, we've gained a few thousand people since Bravocon 2022. And I'm talking like 8,000 people since then.
Yeah.
It's a lot, but we're going to just keep the members email. We're going to email the members when we have meetup information. We'll announce it in Facebook, but you won't get the info unless you register because it's a lot of people to post in the group. And I like controlling it with email. So I'm an email freak. That's me. Otherwise, I think that's it. John, you got anything else before we wrap up?
I think that's it. I will say we'll be back next Sunday with our first episode. And in the meantime, go watch Bravo and we'll see you soon.
Yes. See you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.